Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Recent cases of hepatitis A in the state have been linked to certain organic strawberries. That's according to the FDA. But don't worry if you bought them in the last month. We'll have the details on what you need to look out for. During the Memorial Day weekend, some people may have had a little too much fun for the holiday. Police in California were on the lookout, busting nearly 1,000 people throughout the state for DUIs. And one district attorney is starting a new program to keep homeless and mentally ill people out of jail. One professor who focuses on mental health says it could be a good plan if it's handled in the right way. The FDA announced a potential cause for the sudden string of hepatitis A cases in the country: organic strawberries. So far, a majority of the cases have been in California. NTD's Jackie Rios has what kind of strawberries should be thrown away and what people think about it.
Officials with the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, are investigating a hepatitis A outbreak, potentially linked to fresh organic strawberries. To stay safe, here's what you need to know. The FDA announced that any consumers who bought and later froze strawberries between March 5th and April 25th may have potentially dangerous fruit. The two listed brands were Fresh Campo and HEB. Stores including Aldi, Kroger, Safeway, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, and Walmart sold the fruit nationwide. The FDA recommends that anyone who purchased and ate the strawberries in the last 2 weeks and who hasn't been vaccinated against hepatitis A should consult or visit with a healthcare professional as quickly as possible. At the Good Fortune supermarket in Los Angeles County, employees said they hadn't heard about any cases. Customers already had the right idea.
So if I were made aware that the strawberries are contaminated, I would either take them back to the store or throw them away.
I would probably just throw them out and go to the store and get a refund.
I would throw them out, do the same thing. I would not want to keep them in my house.
17 cases of hepatitis A have been documented nationwide. 15 of those cases were in California. The FDA has not warned against strawberries being sold right now. Only frozen strawberries may still be affected, as the potentially hazardous non-frozen fruit have since expired. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
A new water outdoor restriction that was approved by the LA City Council is set to take effect on June 1st in some parts of Southern California. Customers of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power would need to adjust to the changes. The cutbacks will require watering to be reduced from 3 days to 2 days per week. People residing on odd-numbered street addresses are permitted to water on Mondays and Fridays. Those on even-numbered addresses on Sundays and Thursdays. No outdoor watering is permitted from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. While Memorial Day weekend was a vacation for many, it was a busy time for California Highway Patrol officers. Despite reminding people to keep their eyes on the road and hands on the wheel, officers still made hundreds of arrests for traffic violations.
Every Memorial Day weekend, the California Highway Patrol enacts a maximum enforcement period. This lasts from 6 p.m. Friday to 11:59 p.m. Monday. During this time, CHP officers patrol the state, monitoring the roadways for seatbelt violations, distracted drivers, speeding, and anyone suspected of driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. But despite reminding Californians to follow traffic rules, officers busted 891 people for driving under the influence over the weekend. And according to the CHP, 15 people have died along California's roadways since the start of Memorial Day weekend. CHP Commissioner Amanda Ray said, "Memorial Day should be a time for honoring our fallen heroes and spending time with loved ones. It should never be marked by tragedy caused by car crashes. Please buckle up, follow all traffic laws, and arrive at your destination safely." Fortunately, this year's numbers are down from last year. In 2021, CHP officers made 979 DUI arrests and reported 35 people having died in crashes during last year's Memorial Day maximum enforcement period. Last year, 63% of vehicle occupants killed in crashes were not wearing seatbelts.
One district attorney's office has created a new unit for homeless and mentally ill defendants. The goal is to put nonviolent offenders into alternative rehab systems.
The Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office has created a new unit dedicated to seeking alternatives to putting nonviolent criminals in jail. I spoke to a mental health expert that said solving criminal recidivism could work if it's done right. According to an announcement on May 25th, the new unit is called the Custody Alternatives and Mental Health Programs, or CAMP. CAMP will seek treatment and rehabilitation for nonviolent defendants who are suffering from mental illness and drug addiction, who end up cycling in and out of the justice system.
Is a great idea as long as we define therapy in a way that says, how can we learn a new behavior, rather than saying it's not your fault, you have a disease, and here's a pill to fix the disease.
Professor Loretta Bruning is an author and founder of the Inner Mammal Institute and an expert in mental health. She says habits such as repeated crimes are learned, and so it's not surprising that it's repeated.
There's habitual criminality, and the prison system hasn't solved that, so it's reasonable that people would look for a new solution. However, to label that as a mental illness or mental health problem, that's problematic because many people have the belief, first, that when you have mental illness, you're not responsible for your actions. And then the whole goal was to teach people accountability. But if you teach them with a paradigm that says you're not responsible for your actions, then that may not work.
The DA's program will have 10 prosecutors handling issues such as mentally ill and homeless defendants, prisoners who have earned second chances, and people who need their old, low-level criminal records cleared to help them get housing and jobs. Bruning said when a person decides to commit a crime, they're thinking about the immediate reward and not necessarily about the negative consequences or reinforcement of jail time.
Partly because it's far away, but partly because they got away with it before. And that's the real problem of our criminal justice system. If a young person commits a crime repeatedly, it literally wires their brain to anticipate that crime leads to rewards rather than negative or threats.
She said it's hard for them to learn the negative consequences if it already has so many positive consequences.
Also, many people have the belief that once it's called a mental illness, the solution is a pharmaceutical. And as long as a person gets the right pharmaceutical, then all their problems will go away. And if it doesn't work, well, then let's just give them a different pill.
Entity reached out to the new Custody Alternatives Unit for further details, but did not hear back by press deadline. The new unit is expected to handle thousands of cases each year. David Lamb, Entity News, California.
California is poised to adopt a medical misinformation bill. The bill is aimed at targeting alternative treatments to the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. One doctor speaks strongly against the potential law.
The California Legislature is set to pass Assembly Bill 2098, described as a medical misinformation bill. If passed, the new law would prohibit doctors from freely providing medical advice and treating their patients if those practices run counter to the official state-sanctioned position. Beginning in April of 2020, government medical organizations and officials have urged against the use of alternative approaches to treating the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. The most notable alternatives are hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. Since late 2020, Dr. Syed Haider has focused on prevention and treatment of the CCP virus by providing exactly those alternatives. Haider told the Epoch Times, "We're always getting closer to the truth, but we have never arrived at a final truth in medicine. Doctors have to be able to take multiple different sides of an argument." He said that since the bill restricts certain information, it begs the question of who decides what is the truth. Haider additionally provided information about protocols for COVID and vaccine injuries through his online initiative, mygotodoc.com. If AB 2098 becomes law, any doctor who prescribes ivermectin can lose their license to practice medicine in California, even if the patient asks for it. Hyder said the precedent that would be set is California gets to become the proving ground for new legislation, not just in medicine, but in everything.
The Golden State's primary elections are coming up, and the race for California's U.S. Senate seat is heating up, with the debates over topics like crime, vaccine mandates, and the border crisis. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more.
California's primary election will take place on June 7th. The state uses a jungle primary system. It's a free-for-all system that includes all candidates regardless of party affiliation. The top two candidates with the most votes will face each other in November's general election. Democratic Senator Alex Padilla is campaigning in two separate races for the same U.S. Senate seat and is endorsed by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and California Governor Gavin Newsom, among others. Newsom appointed Padilla to fill the Senate seat left vacant by Vice President Kamala Harris in 2020. In order to keep that seat for the remainder of his current term ending in 2023, he must defeat 7 opponents in a special election. For the next full 6-year Senate term, Padilla faces over 20 challengers in the top 2 primary election. Candidates include 6 Democrats, 10 Republicans, and 4 independents. Republican frontrunners in the race are Mike Moiser, Cordy Williams, and John Ellis. Moiser is campaigning on fighting for parental rights, local control of education, and cracking down on crime. Padilla is facing increasing criticism from Republican candidates. He has advocated for immigration reform, lax border security policies, and sanctuary cities. He also pushed to end Title 42, decrease funding for federal immigration enforcement, and increase social safety benefits for illegal aliens in the Biden administration's infrastructure plan. A harsh critic of former President Donald Trump, Padilla calls Trump's border wall racist, offensive, and an expensive failure. Padilla's Republican opponents don't see the enforcement of immigration laws as a racial issue, but instead a legal one hinging on the rule of law. On the topic of vaccine mandates, Padilla has called for a more aggressive campaign to get school-aged children vaccinated against COVID-19. Padilla has pushed for vote-by-mail ballots, automatic voter registration, same-day registration, online registration, and expanded early voting. California's major cities have seen a sharp rise in crime, drug addiction, and homelessness, issues Padilla has been mostly silent on. Many law enforcement agencies and critics have blamed the policies of progressive district attorneys and criminal justice reforms. Cordy Williams has suggested Congress may need to get the FBI and DEA involved to reduce crime in California. In the gubernatorial race, Newsom is running for re-election after winning a recall election in 2021. He is expected to serve a second and final 4-year term. Republican Brian Dale is being touted as his most prominent opponent. Also up for grabs in the primary are the positions of mayor in Los Angeles and San Jose, and district attorney in San Francisco. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. 6 people were arrested in a multi-million-dollar recycling scam. We'll tell you all about how and what they did. And the little eagle that we've been following since she was still in an egg is finally taken to the air. We'll show you how she took off. That and more on California Today. Six people have been arrested for allegedly operating a recycling fraud scheme in the Los Angeles area. They scammed over $10 million from the state's recycling program by bringing in materials from out of state.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced on May 25th that 6 people have been arrested and charged with felony and grand theft. They scammed over $10 million from the state's recycling program by bringing more than 9 tons of out-of-state materials from Arizona for redemption. From September 2021 through March this year, the DOJ found that the defendants imported aluminum cans and plastic bottles from Arizona to California to unlawfully redeem the California recycling refund value of those items. In a statement, Bonta said, when individuals skirt California's recycling laws, California consumers are hurt in the process. According to the Cal Recycle director, Rachel Maki Wagner, the program helps the state recycle 454 billion bottles and cans and reduce trash pollution across the state. She said, beverage deposits belong to Californians, and the state will continue to actively protect these funds. The California Redemption Value Program is the state's beverage container recycling program.
It incentivizes recycling at privately owned centers with a 5 or 10 cent return on eligible beverage containers. Only material from California is eligible for redemption under the program. Arizona does not have a recycling program that provides redemption value for bottles and cans. Illegal redemption drains CRV funds and takes funds that are subsidized by the beverage container purchases of California consumers.
A Southern California city is pushing back against the state housing bill. It will force cities to build affordable housing on land that has been zoned for other uses. Here's what the officials are saying.
California's Assembly Bill 2011 is receiving pushback. The Laguna Hills City Council in Orange County unanimously voted against it last week. The bill forces California cities to build affordable housing on properties zoned for office, retail, or parking use. It bypasses the city's general planning. It also exempts these projects from undergoing environmental review under the California Environmental Quality Act. Assemblywoman Buffy Wicks introduced the bill in February. It passed the state assembly on May 19th. Laguna Hills Mayor Pro Tem Janine Heft said ahead of the vote, "This is just one more attempt by Sacramento to erode our sovereignty as cities and our ability to govern ourselves." Mayor Dave Wheeler requested that the bill be put on the council's meeting agenda earlier this month. The city staff prepared a report recommending the council oppose the bill. Councilwoman Erica Pizzold said it's a shame that California is trying to push the bill onto existing cities instead of opening up new land. The Association of California Cities Orange County also penned a letter to Wicks opposing the bill on May 10th. The letter points out that the bill is disruptive to local government's processes of facilitating housing production. The group wrote that cities, not the state, are best suited to make local land use decisions. The bill is now heading to the state Senate.
We have been following the eaglet Spirit since she was still in her egg. After months of growing in her nest in Southern California's Big Bear Valley, the young bird finally took her first flight today. Let's take a look.
As the sun began to rise early Tuesday morning, Spirit, the bald eaglet, looked out across Big Bear Lake in Southern California. After a few moments on the front porch, she took her first flight away from the nest. Friends of Big Bear Valley operates a live stream of the nest. The organization says Spirit fledged this morning at 5:49 a.m. She started out like every other morning, stretching and flapping her wings, but this time she just let go of the branch and took to the skies. Friends of Big Bear Valley say Spirit will likely come back to the nest soon. It could be tonight, it could be a couple of days. We'll just have to wait and see. She will continue to hang out in the area for another month or two. During this time, she will follow her mother, Jackie, and father, Shadow, around and learn from them. Once Spirit feels ready, she will set off on her own great adventure.
Disneyland announced a limited time ticket offer for California residents. It's only valid this summer.
California residents can visit Disneyland or Disney California Adventure for as low as $83 per person per day. The 3-day, 1-park-per-day tickets start at $249 for admission on Mondays through Thursdays. Weekend tickets are as low as $299 or $100 per day. Park hopper tickets can be purchased for an additional $60. Guests can purchase the limited-time tickets starting May 31st. California residents may redeem their tickets on any 3 eligible days from June 13th to September 15th. For the summer season, Disneyland is bringing back its Main Street Electrical Parade, fireworks show, Phantasmic, World of Color, and more.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you your California Today Sports Roundup. Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Gorman each hit a 2-run home run to power St. Louis past visiting San Diego. Goldschmidt extended his on-base streak to 35 games and his hitting streak to 21 games. He has 22 extra base hits and 32 RBIs in May. Gorman went 3 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs. Cardinals opener Packy Naughton lasted 2 1/3 innings and allowed 1 run and 2 hits. And Andre Palante worked the next 3 1/3 innings, allowing 1 run on 5 hits. Padres starter Nick Martinez gave up 3 runs on 7 hits and 4 walks in 6 innings. Cardinals 6, Padres 3. Kirk Casale hit a go-ahead 2-run homer off Andrew Bellotti with 1 out in the top of the 10th inning to lift San Francisco past host Philadelphia. Evan Longoria also homered, and Wilmer Flores added a home run and 2 RBIs for the Giants. San Francisco starter Logan Webb tossed 8+ strong innings and gave up 4 hits and 3 runs to go along with 10 strikeouts and no walks. Dominic Leone earned the win in relief. Camilo Duvall allowed an unearned run in the 10th for his 8th save. Nick Castellanos, Rice Hoskins, and Kyle Schwarber homered for the Phillies, who lost their 4th in a row. Giants 5, Phillies 4 in 10 innings. Los Angeles Rams defensive lineman Aaron Donald said that he was at peace with retiring this summer after the Rams Super Bowl win in February on the I Am Athlete podcast. His comments come amidst reports that Aaron Donald and the Rams are working together on a new contract, paying the 8-time Pro Bowler a record-breaking amount of money for his services per reporting. Donald has been arguably the best player in football for over 5 years running, with his impact rushing the passer quite literally changing the dynamics of football games. Donald's ability to spearhead the Rams pass rush helped them win a Super Bowl last year and remain contenders in years past, even when their offense didn't have elite quarterback Matthew Stafford. Donald's contract currently counts for over $26 million of the Rams' salary cap space and spans through 2024, after which Donald will become an unrestricted free agent. By restructuring his contract now, the 31-year-old has the ability to up his earning potential with an out that both Donald and the Rams built into his current contract, a window that opens this summer. If Donald retires, the Rams could still be tied up, paying his salary until 2025. That's why restructuring a deal now would benefit Donald, while he still has the leverage. Aaron Donald will be 34 years old when he becomes a free agent in 2025. His comments on being at peace with retirement should send a message to the Rams front office that in order to keep Donald, they need to ante up and give him a few million more reasons to keep playing football.
And that's all for the California Today Sports Roundup.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.